Sadaka play Sudoku? If he does he play to the sound of cicadas while sipping Sambuca in southern Sedona? Does he call up Madonna and Robert De Niro to come for canasta or even some Uno, then afterwards, hopefully, Davy Sudoku? And Kiki D? Would she? Could she? Do Kiki and Yoko eat Pico de Gallo with David Sedaris? Do they speak of antiques and quote some quaint haiku? Just what do they do, if they do? Sudoku. And what of Santana? De Kooning? Sinatra? Did Frank croon a tune while he did his Sudoku? Did he doobie-doo and shooby-dooby-doo, and did he do that voodoo while he did Sudoku? Did Eva and Ava and Jaja and True, when it was très hip to be hep, do Boku Sudoku? Did Chico and Harpo and Groucho and Zeppo and even old Gummo watch Silvers do Bilko while they did Sudoku? Count Dooku and Luke long ago, far away, when they went to Naboo, did some space Sudoku. And fluky but true, I've heard that Tamu, when he did Sudoku, wore a toque from J. Crew. Who knew? And what about you? When you wait in a queue or you sit in the loo, do you curse the time through or do you swift Sudoku? Do you wear a Seiko or maybe a Seiko? Do you practice Kung Fu or watch Scooby-Doo? When you do Sudoku, if you do Sudoku, do you ever feel cuckoo like you've got a loose screw or perhaps even two? Is that you? Do you see yourself in that picture right here? And I? Do I too? Oh, I did and I do, some nights more than a few. Only when I unglue and my eyes are askew and the sun comes anew, do I put down the pen and decide that I'm through. Oh wait, that's it, too. I don't know why can I not let this go. I have a confession about that. I wrote that poem with a friend, a guy named Alex Bernstein, a very funny writer. He writes jokes you wind up humming on the way home after the show. And he lives in New York now, so we were by email sending the poem back and forth. We had a draft I was completely happy with. I was getting ready to take it out, and I went to dinner at the home of a friend of mine, Jas Milam, who's a painter who does paintings you can dance to. And we went to dinner at her house. So I was there at her house with her husband Cliff and her kids Molly and Max, and they have a basset hound named Ursulonga and a hamster named Vita Brevis. And I was with my wife, whose name escapes me at the moment. And we're having dinner, and I said, "Can I run this piece past you?" Now, for those of you who do not have friends who are writers and performers, when a friend who's a writer or performer is at your home and says, "Can I run a piece past you?" you have no choice but to say, "Yeah, okay." And what the writer-performer hears is, "Oh yeah, that'd be great, thanks." So Jess and her husband were very enthusiastic. So, thank you for understanding. I don't need a whole room full of people laughing, really. Just one guy chortling into his face. I hate myself. In any case, I did the poem for them, and they liked it, and they said, "Oh, it's funny, and how do you remember all those words?" And it's like Dr. Seuss, they said, and then there was this awkward pause because they were done stroking me, but I was not done being stroked. And their 11-year-old Max said, "Anakin, Anakin!" And everyone ignored him, because that's what you do when kids suddenly develop weird Tourette's, But he was looking right at me when he said it. So I said, "What?" Because I'm really good with kids. And he said, "Anakin went to Naboo with Dooku. Luke wasn't even born yet." And then he rolled his eyes like a physics professor who has heard you use parsec as a measurement of time. And I said, "Thank you, Max. Perhaps I'll do a rewrite. Because I want kids to know that it's okay to correct adults when they know something that we do not, and you're no longer allowed to hint." But even as I said it, I knew that I wasn't going to change the poem. Because the rhythm worked and the scan worked, and I knew it would get a laugh, and it has the K in it, and I knew nobody was ever going to know except for Max and me, and I am an atheist. I am so completely an atheist that when people tell me they believe in God, I don't entirely believe them. But I can tell you as a simple matter of scientific fact that at the middle of the center, at the pithy core of the epi-middle, where the Big Bang happened, from which all else spreads, there is an eye that is unblinkingly, unwaveringly focused on my flaws. And if any of you ever encountered that eye, I swear you would encounter a loving, adoring, Carl Reinerly ocule that sees in you only your best potential and your greatest beauty. But when that eye looks on me, it sees only the stammers on stage, the sentences too early that need to be picked up again later. That one time I said irregardless when I was 22. It sees every one of them and it judges me, and when I encounter that eye, it will roll itself like the eye of a disaffected pre-adolescent. And it will cast me out for all of my minor flaws into the vast clockwork void of the universe. As I fall away, I will shout, "Where are you sending me?" And it will say, "I'm sending you to Naboo to do Sudoku with Luke and Dooku." And I will say, "Anakin, Anakin!" And it will turn away and close itself and leave me finally fully and rightly and wholly alone with my self-loathing. And I will think, why can I not let these things go?